It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay.
Welcome to Ask Aunt Ann. It's a lovely day here, and I hope it's a lovely day where you are. May and June bring celebrations of all kinds. Graduations, first communions, weddings, and today we'll be preparing a brunch for Mother's Day. I hope the recipes and ideas we show you today will help you make your celebration an extra special one for the extra special people in your life. My cousin Sadie and I are like sisters. We grew up across the street from each other. I've invited her and my mom for brunch at my house. Sadie will be here soon to help me get ready, but right now I'd like to introduce you to my mom, Grace. She is our guest of honor at this Mother's Day celebration. I'm so glad you could be here, Mom.
Thank you, dear, for inviting me here, and how can I help you get ready?
By relaxing and just letting me spoil you.
Okay.
I've made your favorite cookies and some tea, and I thought you'd maybe like to sit out on the porch and enjoy the nice weather.
That sounds nice. Thank you.
Our first letter today is from Tina Douglas in Concord. Dear Aunt Ann, my best friend's daughter is getting married and I'm hosting the shower. I've decided on a brunch but not sure where to start with the planning. Well, Tina, when hosting a brunch or any other kind of party, your key to success is planning. First, pick your theme. Consider the bride's hobbies or interests and the type of wedding she's planning. Once that is decided, choose colors and a style, and then create your invitations, decorations, and table setting to coordinate. Next, create your menu. Have a nice mix of sweet and savory foods, and keep in mind who your guests are and what they like to eat. Generally, select one meat and/or fish dish and an egg dish as your main course. It can include the meat, a side or two, a basket with breads, and of course dessert and a variety of drinks. Here's the menu I've planned for my Mother's Day brunch. Spinach and cheese strata, maple sausage links, potato and asparagus salad, flour crisps filled with pesto herb spread, bread and muffins, lemony lemon brownies, breakfast upside down cake, pomegranate citrus juice, fresh coffee, and herb tea. Doesn't that sound good? And it really doesn't require a lot of your time the day of the brunch. The strata can be assembled the night before, left in the refrigerator overnight, and then all you have to do is bake it in the morning. The potato and asparagus salad actually tastes better when it's refrigerated overnight. This allows the flavors to blend completely. I have a favorite bakery down the street, so I'll be picking out a nice variety of muffins, scones, and breads for the table. I'll make the lemon brownies the night before and the breakfast cake the morning of, right before I pop the strata into the oven. I'll cook the sausages while the strata is cooking and make the juice. I usually set the table the night before too. One less thing to worry about, especially for an early gathering. Remember, plan it all out beforehand. Write your list for groceries, read through all the recipes, and make out a schedule. You will enjoy your party as much as your guests. Good luck with your bridal shower, Tina. I know it will be perfect. Before Sadie gets here, let's answer one more letter. Dear Aunt Ann, my son is graduating from high school in June. Do you have any suggestions for decorations that aren't too feminine? I so enjoy your show. Keep up the good work. Angie Gannon, Sullivan. Thank you, Angie. That's so nice to hear. I think I have a great idea for you. How about using photos of your son as he was growing up? Scan your favorites into your computer and change them to black and white for a uniform look. You can use them on the invitations, placemats, and even have one scanned onto your cake. I've transferred photos onto upcycled jars, and it makes a wonderful, unique candle holder. Just the perfect decoration for the table, and it can be a great take-home gift for your son's grandparents and other special people in his life. Here's how you can make these yourself. The supplies you need are assorted glass jars, recycled and clean. The lids are not needed. Some clear full sheet labels, 8.5 by 11 for inkjet printers. Avery brand labels are available on Amazon.com for about $13 for a pack of 10 full sheets. Scissors, a ruler or tape measure, tea light candles or votives, either those with a wick or battery operated. You'll also need an inkjet printer. First, select your photos. I like featuring one photo per jar, but you could put 2 pictures on each jar. I've selected some of my favorite vintage family photos to use for this project. Next, measure the jar. The photos will need to be adhered to the flattest surface on the jar, so try to avoid including the curved top and bottom sections. Measure height and circumference. Next, create a photo layout on your computer. I put my images into a Word document. Be sure to size the photos according to the measurements of the space available on the jar. You should be able to get several photos on one 8.5 by 11 inch sheet. Leave a bit of cutting room in between the photos. The next step is to print photos onto the clear shipping label sheets. Be sure to adjust your printer paper settings. I found that on my printer, the Photo Paper Pro setting prints the nicest looking images. I prefer to print in black and white, but you could also print in color. Next, trim the photos and carefully apply them to the jar. Peel the backing off and then smooth out the photo while you're applying them to the jar. To add color for our table, I'm tying a sunny yellow ribbon around the top. Just make sure that it doesn't get too close to the flame. Drop in a tea light or votive. If you're giving this gift to someone who lives in an apartment or dorm room where they may not be able to burn wax candles, just use a battery-powered tea light. The result is a warm and charming vintage glow that everyone will love. My mom loves birds, so this year for her Mother's Day gift, I found these sweet little bird houses online. I showed them to my neighbor Jimmy, and he was confident he could help me build one. And he did. Here's how you can too. Oh, that must be Jimmy now. Come on in, the door's open.
Hi, Ann. Don't you look lovely today?
Oh, thank you, that's very nice of you to say. So what did you come up with?
It was a fairly easy project, Ann. Anyone who's a little handy can make this without a problem. The hard part is painting them, and you did a wonderful job with that.
Thank you. I guess we make a good team.
I guess we do.
Well, where do we start?
Well, Ann, it's pretty easy. First off, I got these little birdhouses at a local craft store, and I also got a base to go with it. For the vertical spindle part, I actually took a cue from your last episode and took apart an old chair and saved the spindles from that. So we'll be using that as our vertical piece.
Repurposing.
That's correct. So the first thing we need to do is to drill a hole in both the base and the birdhouse so that our spindle can fit inside those. And for these, if you could hold that for me, first we need to find the center of them. And to do that, it's pretty easy with the rectangular one. Your straight edge along the 2 corners, make a mark, and there's your center.
Very easy.
And then for the round one, it's a little more difficult, but I found a neat trick. If you take a square of any kind, it could be a book or a square I have in this case, put the edge or the corner of the square so that it's flush with the outside edge of the circle, and then make a mark on both sides, and then draw a line between those, and then do the same thing at a slightly different angle. And that is the center of your circle.
Very nifty.
And then we're ready to drill the holes. Now when I drill holes through a piece of wood, I always like to put a piece of scrap wood underneath it. That way when you drill through, you don't get a lot of what they call tear out on the other side. And just make sure that you're vertical in both directions. And there we have our base all ready to go.
It makes a bit of a mess.
It makes a little bit of a mess, but it's pretty easy to clean up. And then for the birdhouse, which is a slightly different size on the top,
How do you know that this drill bit is the right size to match up with the spindle edge?
before I came today, I took a tape measure and measured that this is a 1/2 inch on the top and 5/8 of an inch on the bottom. You can either paint it before you put it together, or you can do it after, either way. And the base just fits in there. And this goes on top. And you add a little wood glue, let that cure overnight, and that should be all you need to do.
And how much about approximately would you say this project costs altogether?
This was a very inexpensive project. The birdhouse itself was less than $10, as was the base, and the spindle I got for free from an old chair that I had laying around. A quick sanding, and it's ready to paint.
You did a great job, thank you. So here's what to do to get this great painted look. All you need are a few craft paints, and these are acrylic paints just from the local craft store. Decide whatever colors you would like for your project. I did several different colors, all in a nice spring color scheme. All you need are the paints and a craft brush or two, and simply paint. I always paint mine before I assemble everything. Let the pieces dry. I actually spray painted the spindle and the 2 yellow bases on the bottom, and I hand painted the birdhouse itself. All this fun little detail was a little bit tricky to paint, but I just gave myself enough time, and I had to be very patient with it. And then I just glued it all together, and that's it. Thanks again, Jimmy. My mom's really going to love this birdhouse. Maybe you can stop by for dessert and meet her.
I'd really like that.
You can find the instructions for these projects and the recipes talked about today on my website, askauntAnn.com. My cousin Sadie should be here any minute to help me get ready for the brunch. Oh, that sounds like her now.
Hi, Ann. Your table looks amazing. Is there something I can help you with?
Thank you, Sadie. I love putting together a pretty table for my guests to enjoy. I thought you could help me with the breakfast upside down cake.
Oh, is that the one you made for my baby shower?
It is.
I love that one. It looks so happy.
It is, and it's so easy. Here's what we'll need. Blueberry muffin mix, 1 package, about 18.9 ounces. 1 package of quick rise yeast. 1 8-ounce can of pineapple slices. 1 egg beaten. 1/3 cup packed brown sugar. 1/4 cup butter melted. 4 maraschino cherries halved, and fresh blueberries. Rinse and drain the blueberries from the muffin mix and set aside. Place the muffin mix and yeast in a large bowl. Set aside. Drain the pineapple, reserving juice in a measuring cup. Set the pineapple aside. Add enough water to juice to measure 2/3 cup. Pour into a saucepan. Heat to 120 to 130 degrees. Add to muffin mix. Stir just until moistened. Beat in the egg. Cover and let rest for 10 minutes. Combine the brown sugar and butter. Pour into a greased 9-inch round baking pan. Cut each pineapple slice in half and arrange over the brown sugar mixture. Tuck cherries into the pineapple. Spoon half the batter over the pineapple and sprinkle with reserved blueberries. Spread with remaining batter. Bake at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the cake comes out clean. Immediately invert onto a serving plate. Cool completely. I like to garnish with fresh blueberries. Sadie, can you help me fill these lovely little flour crisps with the pesto herb spread?
Did you make these? They're so cute.
They are, and they're very easy to make. Here's how. To make the flower-shaped cups, turn a mini muffin pan upside down. Use a flower-shaped cookie cutter to cut out flowers from the egg roll wrappers. In order to get 2 flowers out of each wrapper, cut the first flower as close to the edges as one corner as possible. Drape the flowers over the mini muffin cups, leaving room in between each. Bake for 4 minutes, then rotate the pan and return it to the oven for 3 to 4 more minutes until the flower cups are golden brown. Allow to cool, then remove them from the muffin pans. The cups will also keep for several days if stored at room temperature. Fill the cups shortly before you are ready to serve them so they stay crispy.
I can't wait to try them.
All that's left is the juice. This looks so lovely on the table. Watch. Mix together grapefruit juice, orange juice, tangerine juice, and a little lime juice. Pour in your glasses and add the pomegranate juice. Look how it settles to the bottom. Isn't it pretty? You can juice the fruit yourself, or to save time, use bottled.
That's almost too pretty to drink. What's next?
I think we have everything all set. I'll put everything on the table. Do you think you could sing my mom's favorite song for her?
Of course, that's one of my favorites too. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
What a lovely brunch we've created. I know you can do the same because the most important ingredient is love. Before we eat, here's a special poem that I chose for you, Mom. It's called Sonnets Are Full of Love and This My Tome by Christina Rossetti. Sonnets are full of love, and this my tome has many sonnets. So here now shall be one sonnet more, a love sonnet, from me to her whose heart is my heart's quiet home, to my first love, my mother, on whose knee I learnt love lore that is not troublesome, whose service is my special dignity, and she my lodestar, while I go and come. And so because you love me, and because I love you, Mother, I have woven a wreath of rhymes wherewith to crown your honored name. In you, not fourscore years can dim the flame of love, whose blessed glow transcends the laws of time and change and mortal life and death. Thank you for spending some of your day with me. I'll be back next month with a show you're sure to enjoy, so please stop by.
It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay. It's a lovely day today, and whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying it's a lovely day. This moment on, you for me, dear, only to pretend, dear, from this moment on, from this happy day, no more blue songs, only hoop-de-doo songs from this moment.